What is up, guys? Welcome to the Legends of Tomorrow after show here at theStream.tv. I'm your host, Jack Hind, and with me, as always, to my left, the beautiful Tatiana. And how do you say your last name, honey?
Mariesa.
Mariesa. I've been trying to work it out. I'm like, is it Marisa? Is it Marisi? Is it Marisi?
Marisi, that's
I don't know. I was trying all different. Tatiana's pretty like exotic as it is.
It's
so I was like,
Russian,
God,
actually.
oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm not Russian, as you can tell. I'm not Russian, but.
It's all right, my man, John. How are you, John?
Great.
Been one of those weeks?
No. It's been a great week. It's always good to be a nerd.
You got the long weekend?
Yeah, got the long. I mean, every weekend's a long weekend, right? I mean, when you're not in school
Every
anymore,
weekend
It's
ain't
not
long
long
enough.
enough.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
exactly. There you go.
when you're not in school anymore, it's not really.
Thank you, President. When you're not in
don't-
school anymore.
You don't worry about Mondays off. It's just
But you don't miss school, do you?
a little bit,
Yeah?
maybe. No.
Yeah, massive amounts do I miss high school. Right, let's jump straight into this episode today because clearly this team just can't get it together at the beginning of every episode. They had a great plan. They're going to go steal from the Pentagon. Ingenious. And what happens? They go through everything. Everybody plays their part nicely. But what happens when they return back to the Wave Rider? They start playing the blame game just because a few things went wrong. John, what did you feel about the way Sara says to Hawk Girl, oh, if the bird wouldn't have gone crazy, everything would have gone fine? Is that how a team's meant to work, John?
No, you know what?
Team Iron Will.
Okay.
You know what a team's all about.
I like to think so. You know, it's funny because when we left off last episode, it seemed like they were coming into their own as a group, and I feel like they took about 3 steps backwards, despite going forward in time. It was becoming very confusing at their dynamic. It was just like, wait a minute, it seemed like you accepted Rip as your leader, and now it seems like
There's no clear-cut leader again. We thought, like you mentioned before, Rip was going to be our #1 guy, but according to the beginning of this episode, nobody wants to listen to Rip, as per usual.
yeah. So it's almost like I don't know. It's what do you think, Tatiana?
I don't think Rip has really.
Asserted his authority.
Yeah, he's not very assertive, and you have a lot of people. A lot of them are very assertive and
My
very
favorite
bold,
part
and you know.
was when they got back on the ship and the team just looked like they were in trouble. They looked like a bunch of school kids just stood. Look at him there. Rip's like the principal stood over his desk, and all of them are like, "We didn't mean to. It was an accident. It was his fault. It was her fault," which I do all the time. I'm like, "It was John's fault. It was Tatiana's fault.
Even though it's always Jack's fault.
It's always my fault." But
Wait, you blamed me for
I
something?
know.
I didn't blame you for anything. Actually.
He's
It's a good
blaming
point.
you because he doesn't know what Full House is, so he's still bitter
Not
about last week.
Full
today.
circle. Full
Not
circle.
today. I did my research. I still don't know what Full House is though. But besides the fact they're doing the Netflix remake, The Fuller House, and whatever that is. One team that we did see that was pretty cool yesterday was Ray and Snart. How did we feel about Ray and Snart? Obviously, we all know Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, is my favourite character on the show. And you as well?
Me too.
Oh, really?
I love him.
Boom. Thank you very much.
Hands
Go
down, love
Tatiana.
him.
She knows what she's talking about. He doesn't, not so much. But yeah, how did you like to see them working it? Especially when the lady slipped, the way Snart's showing Ray how to do things, like almost showing Ray a criminal side, because Ray really is the most innocent guy you'll ever meet.
He's like a
in
Boy
your-
Scout. Well,
Yeah.
he is.
He was a Eagle Scout.
Yeah, Eagle Scout,
and he
okay.
got his badge in nuclear physics.
Yeah.
I was like, bitch, at the end of that sentence. But no, we see him catch him. We see him kind of turn him into turning into a good team, because we also see when they have to go see Valentina, Ray's like, I got this. I'm the scientist. She's on my level. We're gonna mingle perfectly. That didn't work.
No, I
Snart
mean,
just like swooped in. Was
Right,
like,
he was so smooth.
My name's Snart.
It's so
Kiss,
good.
kiss.
I've got him under there as cheeky Snart, because all he did was he watched Ray and just pretty much watched him embarrass himself in front of this woman, and then comes over and goes, don't worry. And then the look back, once he goes, oh yeah, I'll walk you home, Valentina.
I loved it. I loved
I
seeing
loved it
that
as well.
photo.
Captain Cold's my
I loved
favourite.
it, yeah.
See, you're not on this right now. This is the Captain Cold hype.
I'm not on
He
Captain
doesn't
Cold.
seem bothered.
I mean, I'm good with that. See how cool I am about not being about Captain Cold. See what I did there? See how I turned
So
that around?
punny, isn't it?
Anyway, you know, I think there's a term in terms of their dynamic. I think we call it frenemies.
Yeah.
I think they do kind of like each other, but they don't. But it's just, I think Ray does like being around Snart,
Yeah.
and vice versa, because he wants to be like, I wish I could be
That
the bad boy.
suave, cool, the bad boy.
Yeah.
The bad boy, which, and you know, that was to backtrack a little bit because they referenced Top Gun in the opening scene. Because,
right.
and I love that I was like, they're referencing Top Gun and then Snart calls out Ray for referencing Top Gun.
Yes.
Right.
But during that scene where they pick up Valentina, that is a Top Gun scene where he's like, is this guy bothering you? Where that's the scene where Tom Cruise
And
picks
you
up
were
Kelly
saying
Yeah.
Captain Cold himself is.
Yeah. And I was like, dude,
Iceman.
you just called him out for referencing Top Gun. You just pulled like the Maverick Top Gun. So I thought that was, really, as a pop culture fan, I thought that was really funny. But yeah, I mean,
Where was I yesterday? I was somewhere yesterday last night and Top Gun was on the TV and I was like, 2 + 2. It's weird how the world works in that way.
and Top Gun came out in '86, the year they're in.
The
So I think that's
they
kind of
were
funny.
in. See, this is why we got John
I
here, because he
know.
catches.
Facts.
Were you a
He's
huge
like
Top
those
Gun
little
fan?
things.
Did you watch Top Gun?
I was late on the Top Gun train.
I'm on the
so,
same plane as
you know,
you.
it wasn't until I started dating my husband now, and he was like, "You haven't seen Top Gun?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "We can't be together." And I was like, "Oh!" So I
Just
watched
snatched that
it.
ring off your finger and was like, whoa, sit down, watch Top Gun,
Yeah.
you get the ring.
So I like it. Once I saw it, I liked it. It's cool.
Speaking of Top Gun, my new favourite Top Gun is Rory. Mick Rory, you're the bodyguard, you've settled in, you found your place. Oh, we need a diversion, and Mick Rory goes, did somebody call my name? Genius.
Cool.
Yeah.
Every time. And he's fighting, how does he make his diversion when they're trying to steal? He's doing the arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Does an arm wrestling match, look at that, genius. And he does all of them, and it's double or nothing if I can beat you guys. But we see the team coming together eventually as we get into the episode, and 2 people that we do need to focus on is Sara and Hawk Girl, because oh my gosh.
Your girl power.
Yeah, girl
The
power.
girl
There it
power.
is.
I
Absolutely.
tweeted
There
it
was a
last night
lot
as
of
well.
girl power going on.
But that fight scene, phew, I mean, for starters, before we jump right into the fight scene, let's talk about the development of their characters first. Let's go classy with things, shall we? Of course, we've got Sara, who, I had it written down, but I can't remember where it is right now. Kendra said to her, Sara, that she wants Sara to teach her to be a warrior, and she wants Kendra to teach Sara to be a human, right? And so that's how they're going to be balancing each other out. So how, like you said, Mr. Girl Power over here, how was that scenario for you?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I think towards the end they started to find it, but I really think they both need tough love. And Sara she's seeking that because she really misses having someone like Laurel around to kind of give her that. And now it's her turn to give the tough love. And I think Kendra needs to show her some things. I mean, I love the
Kendra needs
bonding.
the bad side of her a little bit to come
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
She's
she needs to
Well,
embrace
she has
that.
to control it at the same time.
Yeah, she definitely needs to embrace it and control it. I mean, that fight scene was awesome. It's one of the best in all the CW shows I've seen so far.
Yeah.
What, that one of them two when she
Oh, yeah.
rips out her wings when she kicks her backwards? It's
Because
like,
she's trying to get it out of her.
With the
She's
bow staff
going
and the
and going.
kicking and everything,
Yeah.
that lens flare in that photo. I mean,
That's a
That's
great-
what I
that's a great
needed.
grab there.
Remember last
Yeah, that's
time
what I
I
was
was
saying.
like,
I
I
was
don't
gonna-
like
I
her.
was gonna-
She's not enough for me. And now I saw the wings and her eyes changed, and I was like, yes, there she is, yes.
But obviously, we can't remember at the beginning of this episode, she does lose her shit a little bit. She's kind of got her own bloodlust now.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about her just pretty much ripping a guard's face off?
Well, when she first did it, I was like, what are you doing? Mission,
What are you
the
doing?
mission. What are you doing? But then it made sense to me. I mean, she's still trying to find out who she is without her other half, basically. And so, you know, I liked it. What is this?
She ripped a guard's face off.
So she's
Is that
trying
the
to find out.
animalistic instinct in her?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's what that is
that's
coming
the
out of
part
her.
that she needs to embrace.
You think so? How will her embracing it help her control it in your eyes?
Because once you face your fear and you realize its potential,
Single shot on this right now.
then you can
There we go. Look at.
then you can control it. So she needs to fully embrace it and experience it to like the max. I mean, not go bloodlust and kill everybody in sight, but you know, she needs to embrace it, and then she can figure out how to control it. And bring it
So
back.
now my question is, who do you think needs more of the help, Kendra, or do you think Sara needs more of the help? Do we need more help for Sara controlling her bloodlust, or do we need more help for Kendra to push her forward and really embrace who she needs to become?
I'd say Kendra.
Yeah, I'm
I'd say.
agreeing with
I mean,
you
we've
there.
been talking about it. I think she's almost been like my least favorite character so far because it's like it seemed like she was embracing this is who I am.
Right.
I am Shiara. I am this, reincarnated
Crazy
warrior.
hawk bird woman that can rip your face off at any
And I was
moment.
just
That-
an
and then
espresso
there's
girl.
also-
Is that what she said? She said
I
that
was
like
just
4 times.
A barista.
A barista.
Yeah.
An espresso girl.
But she keeps going back to that, and it's like we talked about
know.
it.
Yeah.
It's like you keep circling back, and it seemed like you're like, okay, I embrace this, I accept it. Now you're taking. So it was a little bit frustrating to me to see that because I want her to be awesome, and she is awesome, but she keeps on being her own worst enemy. I feel like.
Now, in her defense, because I know
Here
I
we
said this,
go.
I know I said this last time that she wasn't my favorite character, but in her defense, so she's like lost, and this guy comes up and says, I'm your one true love, kiss me, okay? And she's like, I don't know who you are. And then
If a guy did that, you wouldn't like that?
I mean, don't ask me, but.
True. Married woman here.
Yeah, it's married. But so I can imagine, his frustration. Anyway, so when she finally realizes, oh my gosh, he's the love of my life, but he's dead. Mm-hmm. That's really hard, So of course she's gonna be like, oh my gosh,
like 2 or 3 weeks.
Where am I gonna go? Like, what am I gonna do? I just found out this is like the man of my dreams.
But would that not give you the fire inside to like really go and be everything that Carter wanted you to be?
I mean, yes, but at the same time, she really loved him. Like, they had a deep passion.
That they had to rekindle first.
But once it all came back,
it was like,
she was like, very emotionally invested in this man. And all of a sudden he's gone. And she's like, I don't even know what to do with myself. Like, that was her soulmate. Yeah. She had no idea what to do with herself.
What she does need to do with herself is control them wings. You can't go winged crazy bitch in front of a ton of people in 1986, Kendra. Because as we see with Savage's plan, Project Svarog, right? S-V-A-R-O-G. There it is right there. Operation Svarog, I should use the correct terminology. As you can see, this is what the people were trying to do. Like, people have noticed Firestorm back in 1975, so now they're like, we need to recreate this nuclear man. Yeah. They're going to try and do the same with Kendra now, because, team, think about your repercussions that you're making in the past. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say, guys.
Is it safe to say the butterfly effect is completely irrelevant? Because they were, that thing with, I know one of your next topics was Kronos and the Timekeeper and the forest, but they're destroying trees and stuff. The butterfly effect, if you step on a bug, then like everything.
No consideration.
Yeah, I mean,
no consideration.
So I guess it just doesn't apply here. That's my whole thing.
But that's where the Time Masters come in, right? I mean, that's their job is to clean up all of this.
Yeah, they clean up everything.
So in theory, couldn't they just be running behind them, cleaning up everything?
If that's the case, that's awesome.
I mean,
well, that's why. I mean, but just before we get into that, I mean, Time Master Drew, she really did have a lot of work to do. But Valentina, who I do really quickly want to talk about, how did she come into to What's His Face's plan? And she's beautiful, by the way. I didn't get the actress's name, so if any of you guys know out there,
I thought she was a model.
She very well should be a model. That's all I can say. Absolutely stunning, brilliant actress. So if anybody does know her name, shoot it over to us at Twitter, on the live YouTube chat, on the Facebook group, anything you can. But how did you feel about Valentina joining up with Vandal?
That was, that's an interesting mystery box, because it's like, how does that even happen? Yeah. So that's always my first question.
Where did it come from originally?
And I love that we're being dropped right in. So obviously they jumped forward in time a decade. Mm-hmm. So,
a decade and a year, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's always going to be. So it's like, I like her. She's got a presence about her, and then doing like the double cross thing. So this is the classic Russian kind of double agent sort of thing, which is great. And more girl power. I mean, look, she had.
Was there any classic double Russian agents in Top Gun?
She had Leonard Snart by the balls, basically.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I was so gutted about that. Well, I was whilst Valentina's on that, we'll do the Valentina Snart little duo as well. Snart kind of is becoming a good guy.
He's starting to turn
a little bit.
That's thanks to
Ray.
Adam. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ray.
There we go.
That's thanks to him.
But it was nice to see. I mean, I think he did kind of fancy her a little bit.
Of course.
They definitely had a very...
How could you not? She's like, look, my name is Butterfly. Like, guys would just, oh my gosh, I'll follow you anywhere. So.
You think guys would just do that when women have a Russian accent?
Yeah.
Let's see. Speak with a Russian accent and let's.
I mean, that was my Russian.
Russian accent's unromantic.
Well, be still my heart, Tatiana.
I have a really good Russian accent.
You got me. All right.
Don't go by me.
When it comes to me, Russian accents are kind of scary to a point. I mean that in the nicest way possible, but they're very intimidating.
Isn't that the allure, though? No.
I don't know.
John,
totally
I mean, if she looks
if
she looks like that, then sure.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, with her look.
Alien for all I care.
Yeah, there you go. Point proven. Doesn't matter if she's intimidating or whatever. She could just come up and go, and he'd be like, I'm all over you.
Even when the double agent, even when she double crossed me, I'd still be like, you're mine. I love you.
I feel like that's what he was doing. He's like, all right, well, Ray, don't do it, but she's got me, so it's cool.
So it's cool. I'm just totally.
Because I'm Captain Cold.
I'm Captain Cold. But no, let's take it into Firestorm. Let's hope they don't recreate the next one. And real quick, we have to state this is another two-parter episode. So I feel like they're probably going to do that a lot throughout the season because you just can't fit all of that into one episode. So it's brilliant to take it over the 2 episodes. But Project Svarog itself is obviously a very dangerous, what's the word I'm looking for? Operation. So do you think the success in it would have come without them capturing Martin Stein? Do you think the thermocore they would have been able to build it with just the thermocore, or do you think that was possibly a lure for Martin Stein to go and shut down the thermocore so that they could actually capture Martin Stein so that they could do it?
Well, I think they expected to catch both of them.
You thought they were going to capture Stein
Jackson.
and Ray? Jackson.
Jackson Stein.
They didn't capture Jax though, did they?
No, they didn't. But
Cool.
I think, I mean,
They
I
only
think,
really need Stein for it to a point, don't they?
yeah, but it would make it all the more easier if they had.
The full example of
Both
it there.
of
But
them.
he knows how it works anyway, like the back of his hand, Martin Stein. So I'm sure, and back in 1986, he's like, what do I use? Where's my technology? Where's my iPad? Well, I guess he's used to 1986 as well. Going on to it, Time Master Druce. This guy. Oh, it's such a dark photo. I sincerely apologise if you guys are watching at home and it's too dark for you to see. But you'll know what Time Master Druce looks like as well. With the line about Kronos. Oh, Kronos died in the crash landing. Time Master Druce is a liar. How did you feel about that? I thought the ultimatum that Rip had was, for one, a very difficult ultimatum to sacrifice himself to go to jail and then for like hundreds and hundreds of years being in the Time Council and then to set everybody back free into their time. What would your choices have been?
It's a tough. I mean, this goes on because this is something I want to bring up. The theme of the episode was growing pains and double jeopardy. You know, that
Yeah.
seemed to be the big thing because it's like, do I go this way or that way? Does Ray do this, or does he try to save this guy who he kind of sort of hates but kind of sort of likes, or does he, you know, help Stein out? So I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, that's the great debate.
But Rip, Time Master Druce, what is it that Time Master Druce wants from Rip? Why is it that you think that he wanted to kill him? Because obviously Mick Rory says, I overheard your discussion. If you think anything like a criminal, like I do, being Mick Rory, this guy wants to kill you. So do you think it's good that, obviously it is good that Rip listened to Rory and not the Time Master, others will be dead, but do you think it's good now because it's created another enemy? Think about it. Rip now has the Time Council seriously against him. They're already after him. They already weren't happy about him. But now to have Vandal Savage as your enemy and the whole Time Council after attacking Time Master Druce? Dude, what are you trying to do right now? Get the whole world against you? I mean, what's Time Master Druce and the whole Time Council going to be able to do to the group now?
I mean, that was like a really fun. That's when the episode picked up for me, honestly. I was like, oh, wow.
When they had their fight in the forest a little bit and the whole team came out and they were like killing well, they didn't kill Kronos, but they finally made Kronos retreat.
Yeah, and just seeing a little more of Rip Hunter's backstory because, you know, just
We don't get
see where he
enough
comes-
of that.
So it's just like he can't win, it seems like. I mean, with the last episode, remember we were talking about, he says his son's name to Vandal Savage and he kind of
Yes.
shoots himself in the foot.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, and you just said he has Vandal Savage, and now it seems like
You
his
have
own.
the whole Time Council against you, dude.
I still don't. I'm not a big fan of Rip. Like I still don't fully
really?
trust him. Yeah, because
Interesting.
I feel like this whole mission is.
More for him.
It's more for him. I was gonna say selfish, but I mean I completely understand because it's your wife and your kid.
But the reason
But
he's...
he dragged all these other people in here, and then he's like, "Oh, I lied to you," and
I called you guys legends when in fact you're just nothing.
you're nothing. And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep going because we're gonna save everybody." And then he keeps running into these problems. He's creating new enemies. Like I'm just not a fan of him.
But
at all.
he does say that, like, he lost his wife and kids, so what he wants to do is end Vandal Savage so that nobody else ever has to go through the pain and sacrifice that he went through.
But think about how many people already have.
What? Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean, but it's just.
But the more you can prevent in the future, surely
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good addition to it,
Yeah.
right?
But I
Yeah.
think this goes back to our theme of there's no clear-cut leader
That-
of this
Yeah.
group.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's going to be the leader, he just needs to take charge. Like, look, I brought you here. This is what's going. But he doesn't even know what he wants. It seems like he
Yeah.
knows that he wants to save his wife and kid, but he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to.
And save everybody else at the same time.
Beautifully put. Yes.
See, I like this.
Beautifully put.
Yes.
Beautifully put, John. Last one we're going to... Right, this is a topic that I want to touch upon. The Jax and Stein, the Firestorm Matrix. What happened this episode, guys? You two were at each other's throats. Guys, I don't know what you thought back home, but just seeing them two go against each other is horrible. Like, really, watching Martin Stein call him out like that, I was hurt. I was like, oh, Stein, that hurt me. And he wasn't even... His name's Jax, so it kind of felt like it was towards me. Totally wasn't at all whatsoever. But I can still put myself in that position, okay?
Your heart hurt.
But he calls it... What's he called? He calls him, like, arrogant, an ignorant, arrogant child. It's like, dude... And then he says, oh, I had to hurt him to get through to him. Is that the right way? Do we think that's the right way to get through to an ignorant 20-year-old?
I just want to, my first question is, does Stein have any kids?
I don't know if we've ever answered that question.
No, he only has his wife.
Yeah.
He only has his wife.
Yes, I don't think they've ever answered that question either.
Because if he doesn't have any children, then I can understand how he would take Jax under his wing, kind of think of him as his son.
He does
and this is the only way that he would know how to raise.
Another thing he says as well is that he's going in so hard on him because Stein doesn't want to have to be the one who does go back to 2016, find Jax's mum and be like, your son's dead. Not really a nice way of putting that. So, but still, Jax as well at the same time. Jax being so hard-headed. Jax, you need to take a step back as well, brother. We get it that that's your character. He's meant to be that much of a badass, but take a step back. Listen. Wouldn't you listen? You had a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, but when
you're
young, did you listen to anybody?
Exactly.
I mean, you are young.
He's technically.
You listen to him?
He's the same age as me. Jax and I are the same age.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it, so if any of you know, then you know. But Jax and I are the same age.
But also consider that Jax never knew his father. When you have that daddy complex, you're very resistant to anybody trying to be that figure. So I get where he's coming from.
Okay, I feel you.
And also, when I was 20, I didn't listen to anybody.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally cut you off.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say, like, I think he has a deep respect for Stein. A deep respect. I think he does because he's been there with him for a lot of.
He just needs to pull his finger out and listen to it. I mean, personally, myself, if I had a wealth of knowledge like Martin Stein telling me how to, like, get through life, what a positive, like, what a plus you have. Come on, if you two went back now to when you was 20 years old and you had a 60-year-old
I can honestly say, I wouldn't even recognize that they were a genius, and I'd be like, this is my life, and if I gotta make mistakes, then I gotta figure it out by myself, because that's how I was.
Oh, that's how you play.
That's how I was. But now that I'm older, I like talk to people like my grandma, who's like 86.
And just the wisdom
and I'm
that
just
you
like,
absorb.
Wow,
Isn't
you
it
know,
wonderful?
because and I wish that I would have known that.
I think that's one of those things where you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
And this goes on my theory. We talked about this before the show.
This is where I'm coming.
I mean, even Stein said, I'd rather die than, I'm sorry if I'm not doing it verbatim, fans, but I'd rather die than go through that again in terms of talking about Ronnie.
Yes.
I think Professor Stein is, I think his days are numbered. I think his days are numbered. And that's when Jax is it's gonna be that one thing where it's like, oh man, like I wish I listened to him. And he'll have some remorse. And I mean, story-wise, that's great. It's gonna be heartbreaking to not have Martin Stein there, but.
How would Jax carry on? Because obviously the Firestorm Matrix needs its counterpart. So how would Jax carry on if Martin Stein was to be gone?
There's multiple scenarios. We all talked about this beforehand. I mean, in the storyline 52, Cyborg fuses with Firestorm, which is funny because Jax Jefferson is not a DC canon character. He's like a hybrid of Victor Stone's character and Ronnie Raymond's character. They're taking the New 52 and the Golden Age and everything. So he really is his own thing. So I wouldn't be surprised, and I would be surprised if we saw Cyborg. I just want to see it. I don't know how that would happen.
I just want to see it. I'm just to see all of them in it.
Because when Jax was introduced in Flash, I thought he was Cyborg. It's like, oh, it's a football player.
Yes,
and I was like, oh, this is Victor Stone. Like, oh, no, wait, who's this guy?
Who's Jax Jefferson?
So, but
something we did see in Flash, though, was Jonah Hex. Anybody catch that in Flash? If you were watching the Flash the other day on Tuesday when they went through the breach, who did we see? We saw a little bit of Jonah Hex.
He was supposed to be coming to Legends.
He is
coming to Legends. And we know why he's coming to Legends, don't we? When's he coming in? Do we have any idea which episode? Guys, do you know which episode?
Webisode. 11.
Episode?
11?
Episode 11?
I think.
Oh, it's like 7 episodes away.
God,
like, you just got me.
Jonah Hex. I was so excited for him to come.
Right, before we throw it to the break, going to throw a couple questions out there for you guys and for all of us here to answer yourself. My first question for you guys, just because I know my answer already, who's been your favourite matchup so far? Out of all the teams that we've seen over the first 4 episodes, we've seen them all pair off, go into their little trios. Who's been your favourite matchup and why so far? John, Tatiana, do we have a favourite matchup just yet?
I mean, I don't know, man. There's been a lot of going on. That's the one thing about this show. Like, I mean, story-wise and character-wise, I get frustrated because I want them to grow, but the action's been awesome.
That's the main thing about this episode.
The action's been awesome. I think Mick Rory's slowly become my favorite character. You know,
on the underline, he's getting in there. Even when
Yeah.
he sees when he's getting dragged away, he sees the guard that captured him. He goes, "If I get my hands on you, I'll go Rocky IV on your ass." And I'm like,
I
yes.
love. He's almost like Drax the Destroyer. You know.
Who?
with
Rory
the-
is, yeah.
Because he's very. That's it. That's to the
Bit
point.
thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the
that's-
girl power. I mean, come on. I mean,
You love.
I love
I
the
was
girl
waiting. I was like, what are you talking
Is
about?
that where
Rory?
we're going
Was
for
it
you for
about
your best matchup? Girl power?
Girl power? Yeah, I'm for the girl power. I love the girl power. But honestly, I really like the Adam and
Snart.
Snart.
Yeah, it's not.
Frenemies.
That's like,
frenemies, right?
they're frenemies,
Love
but
it.
they totally build off of each other.
Yeah.
They work each other so
They do,
perfectly.
they do, and the reason why Snart became this like hero in this episode is because of the Adam.
Because
It's because of it. He was like, no, you have to save her. You have to save her. And he
Thank
was like,
you.
I don't care. I don't freaking care about this girl.
I'm
He's
not
like,
gonna say-
no, I'm a Boy
exactly.
Scout. Or excuse me, not a Boy Scout.
Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout.
Come on, Boy Scout.
You know,
And he goes,
I was
actually, I was an Eagle
I
Scout.
don't know.
Me, I'm the same at the moment. I'm starting to love Rory as well. I'm going to pull from both of you. Rory with whoever he goes with, just because he makes it hilarious. And being the bodyguard or the distraction, like I said, that's Rory's new role. The bodyguard, the distraction, the hard nut, the Draxter destroyer. But Captain Cold and Ray, and they just mesh together. Just Wentworth Miller and Brandon Routh, as actors, they have great chemistry and play off each other. So like I said, guys, let us know on the comments, on Twitter, on Facebook. We'd love to know what your favourite matchup is so far. Second question, favourite character?
You already know.
Captain Cold?
Yep.
Mine. Done. Yours?
We missed that. That was.
Did we miss it?
Yeah,
It's Sarah Lance. Sarah Lance is my favorite character.
Really?
Hands down. Hands down.
She's a lot of
interesting.
people's favorite.
She's my favorite character.
May I
for
ask
sure.
why?
Girl power, one, and she, you know, and story-wise, she has so much going on. I mean, this girl, you know, survived that boat crash with the Oliver Queen
God.
thing. The backstory: she's on the island.
Yeah.
She trained with Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
you
She's in
know,
the League
with
of
Nessa,
Assassins.
and,
She
you know,
died.
This girl has so much, like her resume of badassery is like, it's like whoa.
I want a resume
Yeah,
of
right?
badassery.
I mean, she is the resume of badassery, and I love that she has so much. She's trying to figure out her human side too. She has so much emotionality to figure out, and to me, that's fascinating as she discovers that, and we discover that with her.
That's going to be a beautiful journey between
Yeah.
the two,
Can I just
between
say,
Olga and White Canary.
so the last episode that we watched, not this one, but the last
Yeah.
one, where she went all crazy and the bloodlust came out, the looks on her face, I just love the fact that they weren't like, you know, but they were like,
Yeah.
like mean faces.
She was
like,
serious
She wasn't trying to be
about it.
pretty. She was
Yeah.
trying to be.
And she still looked pretty, though.
badass. But
She was trying to be badass, but
still pretty.
because she's gorgeous.
And then
they
she
just
brought
throw
out
that
in
one.
her like little
How many knives do you
side
have?
knife. Just having to say.
Guys, like I said, please let us know. We want to know who your favourite matchup is so far, who's your favourite duo, trio, etc. And who is your favourite character after 4 episodes so far of Legends of Tomorrow. We are going to take a little quick break, but we'll be right back with you shortly with a few fan questions. Do we have some fan art, John? I believe we do.
We have one really good one that we're going to show when we get
Awesome.
back.
Sounds like a plan, guys. We'll see you momentarily. Go for a wee, go get a cup of tea. We'll see you in a little while.
Go for a wee.
Just in case you missed it live. In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live.
Oh, you'd want to take the time travel the whole way back.
How did you not figure that out?
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like, how did you get here? No. Look at me. I'm dancing. You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is wait something.
And we're like, ooh, inseparable. She was shadier than Sunglass Hut with Ray-Bans on sale, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it wasn't. So come on.
You just went to a totally different direction on that.
When a billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
Hold the phone,
Hold on.
bro.
I found her to be deliciously out of control.
Oh man, looking forward to this fight.
Ooh, they about to get together. Watch, it's about to go down.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
She just slapped the crap out of Nick.
And he's just
It's all good.
You can't count anything out.
Oh.
It's been another awesome night at theStream.tv,
always
guys.
awesome.
Thank you for joining us, you guys. We love you.
Moore.
Where are you coming at us? There you are. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just kidding, my American accent's awful, so I'm not going to do it for you today. Thank you, by the way, for the live YouTube chat. I just realised Jax and I aren't the same age, we're just similar ages. I'm not going to tell you if I'm older or younger, that's for you guys to guess and decide.
I still wouldn't listen at that age, right?
You still don't? Yeah, they still wouldn't listen at that age
I
anyway.
just rebellious.
And before we do go into these guys, I am going to do a quick couple of our shout outs to our wonderful Facebook groups. You know that you have to come and join us over at the DC Legends of Tomorrow. There it is right there, discussing the TV show. Guys, one of the biggest groups out there dedicated to discussing this show. And the reason this is so handy is because we get to talk about it even after this has stopped. So we get to go over there, you can come read our blogs over at the StreamTV's page, you can come read our own blogs, and we get to talk about everything there is Legends of Tomorrow. Guys, before we go in, no, we can go to a few Twitter questions right now.
We got a couple.
Let's go live with Twitter with Jon Lee Brody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? So we got Indigo_15. That's Brandon Moore, I believe. I found out Brandon Moore's from Chicago, which is my hometown.
Oh, you know,
So-
Brandon's a lad. Brandon's
Yeah.
been following us since the beginning of Flash.
So always good to know that Chicago people are watching. That's
Is that
pretty cool.
Chi-Town?
Chi-Town, or Chi-Tizzle if you're one of the locals. You know, that's
Chi-Tizzle.
Chi-Tizzle,
Wow, that's
Chi-Tizzle.
I didn't know that.
All right, so Brandon wants to know, in what other ways do you think we'll see the characters help each other grow over the course of the season? It's a good question.
That's a good question, Brandon. I'm thinking. You got me thinking, Brandon. You got me stuck there. I mean, we know Ray now is going to help, what's his face, Snart, develop into becoming a nicer character a little bit. We've got Sara and Hawk Girl, of course. Stein to make Jax become a bit of a clear-headed and vice versa. Who else do you guys think that we could have that are going to be developing each other so far? John, you got any ideas?
I think Rip needs to develop his leadership skills.
Yeah.
I think that's where Rip and Rory may be helping each other a little bit, possibly.
I hope so, because, you know, and I love that. I do love that dynamic that they had when Rory's like, you know, you got to learn a few things from my side, that this is how it goes down.
Do I get to shoot my gun?
Yeah. And that
You said I get to shoot my gun. That's all he ever wants to do.
that's why Rory's slowly becoming like the quintessential character of the show. But Rip, I mean, I feel like he's the X factor. If he's doesn't have his stuff together,
He's the one
he's
who
a
needs
leader.
to be developed now.
Yeah, and then
You agree?
I don't know.
Well, here's
Someone
the-
needs to be the adult in the room, and I feel like no one is.
So
you know?
here's my question: what if Rip never is the adult?
Someone's got to step up, right?
Like if Snart stepped up, because
He's
that's
very
where I
much-
was going. That's where I
You
was
wanna
going.
know.
Because Snart could lead, especially
Massively.
if he's rounded out by the Atom. You know, he would be a pretty good leader, I think.
If he's flattened out by the Atom. If he's
Yeah, if he's rounded
turns
out,
into a
yeah.
good bile- Or even just Rip and Atom, not Rip and Atom, Rip and Snart, kind of helping each other out a little bit. Like Rip obviously knows the precautions and the repercussions and
Well, he
the
would just-
concussions and everything that goes wrong in time.
He would just kind of fall back into somebody else that could help.
Who?
Like everybody else.
Rip would instead.
Yeah, and then Snart would become
I think
the
they
main
should
guy.
dedicate leaders. So like, oh, we have somewhere we need to go and like, oh, we have somewhere to steal. Snart, you're in charge of this. Oh, we have something to break into. Snart, you're in charge. I guess Snart will probably end up being in charge of all the strategical stuff.
I feel like he would be really good.
I like
As
where
a
you're going
leader.
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, to use an X-Men analogy, I feel like he's very much like the Wolverine of the group, and I
Yes,
think
yes.
Adam could be very much be the Cyclops, you know, because
Okay.
Yeah.
he is the Eagle Scout. So because you have to have that balance, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think those guys are it.
And that is the that
Yeah.
is the perfect balance
Yeah.
of the boat because they're
I think so.
complete opposite ends of the spectrum, so they join each other nicely.
I'd watch that. I'd watch a show with just the two of those.
Just the
too.
two of
Yeah.
them.
Me too.
Yeah. Guys,
Yeah.
make sure to let us know what you think. Like I said, you can get it over on the Facebook group, our Facebook group, by the way, which you have to go and join so that you can post questions, fan art, theories, comments. I'm trying to list as many as I can.
Full
but you
House
know,
references?
oh my God. Full, let's get over the
For me,
Full
for
House
Tatiana and I,
references,
for
okay?
Tatiana and I.
For these two, you can
It's
go
not
post
going away.
Oh, no.
American
Oh, no.
90s pop culture.
Not
which-
until you see every episode. It's not going away.
I'm gonna make you a board.
Oh
I
yeah.
apologize for being ignorant to the 90s American pop
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. Honestly, I mean, you're missing out, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Next
massively.
question. Next
On
question.
Full House.
This comes from Real Michael Chow. He wants to know, he said, the newspaper Easter egg in Flash's pilot mentioned the year 2024. Do you believe they will explore this in the show? As far as 2024?
God, that's going real far
Why
far
not?
back. Real far back.
Yeah.
2024?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
I know. They're going to the Wild West to see Jonah Hex,
Yeah,
right? So I
exactly.
mean, why not?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't see them not going. But why is 2024 further enough in time for them to make a difference? So obviously we're going to 2046. We're going to go see Connor Hawke. We're going to go see Oliver. And then we're going to go all the way back to the Wild West, where we're going to see Jonah Hex. We're hopefully going to go all the way back, possibly to World War I or World War II. and see Sergeant Rock, which we brought in last episode. And now we're in 1975, 1985. Is 6 years ahead of time from now enough? Well, sorry, 8 years ahead of time now enough to go to 2024?
Maybe, because you know how everything can change at the drop of a hat. I mean, there might have been something in 2024, and if that's brought up in the Flash pilot, then.
Well, it gets brought up constantly, because when they used to go into in Gideon's room, he would show them, excuse me guys, they would show the newspaper that showed the future when it shows their infinite crisis on Earth and all that stuff went wrong. But time travel, if we're going to try and mix the Flash's timeline along with Legends' timeline, I mean, they're enough trying to handle themselves. So let's try and keep them separate as possible for now, in my opinion.
You know what I think that could be alluding to is, remember Flashpoint Paradox, where
Yes.
Barry Allen goes back in time and changes everything. So it might be 2024 is the year he tried to do that. I mean, or maybe we'll see Cyborg then, because Watchtower's established, the Legion's established, Justice League established. I think it'd be really cool to see. I mean, Justice League, you're representing.
Right.
What do you think? 2024, what do you?
I mean, what you said makes sense.
Yeah.
It could.
As a
I don't think
fanboy,
it'll
I
go
have to
that
think
far.
that way.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I mean. We can get real deep into it and start throwing a bunch of theories in there, but 2024, just like you said, it's a nice Easter egg to bring back. But guys, let us know what you think. When do you think the next years they're going to be going into, and what would be your favourite era for them to go to? John, next question, my man, if we've got another one.
Well, this next one, unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties to display the Twitter, but we have a lovely man named Mark Pope sending us fan art. He
From
sent us
Lord
his-
Messer.
From Lord Messer. Is that his name?
Lord Messer is the artist who drew
Lord
this. Guys,
Messer.
this is where the Facebook group comes in handy, because when our iPad doesn't work, you guys can go to the Facebook group, which is the DC Legends of Tomorrow After Show Legends Family. So once you guys go to that, you'll be able to see the fan art, and we'll all be golden once again. So make sure you go check that out and join it.
But I wish we could share this with you. It's a really great
awesome.
drawing of Sara and Kendra. He's at Pope Mark with a K 291. Go check it out, because you guys should check this out. I wish you could see it, because this is awesome.
It's wonderful.
It's really
Like I
cool.
said, guys, make sure you go to the Facebook group, and you guys will be able to see it there. Is that all for the questions?
That is it for today. I mean, I was hoping for more, but.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us
Oh,
today.
actually,
It's been about
it's this one. Oh, Jack, when are you gonna watch Full House?
Oh
Saved
my
by the
God!
Bell?
He's not gonna let it go.
I promise. Okay, I will watch the whole of Full House just to make everybody happy. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us on this Friday. I hope you will have a wonderful long weekend. Don't forget to go follow us all on Twitter. Follow us all on social media. Follow the stream so that you can get updated with everything that's going on in the world.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Oh yeah.
Happy Valentine's
We're gonna
Day.
get there. We've got Valentine's Day. We've got President's Day, which still makes no sense to me, but I'm going to take the holiday off work. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy birthday to your daughter as well yesterday. Also, our
Yeah.
camera guy, Ryan, happy birthday, my man. Hope you have a good one. He's now 65 years old. No, I'm just playing with you, buddy. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining. For Tatiana, John, myself, and everybody here at theStream.tv, have a wonderful weekend. Good night.
Bye.